Okay, your next area is supply chain management. Basically, it falls in your section D as unit 10. So what do we have in this unit? We will be discussing just-in-time inventory and lean operations. We'll be discussing the enterprise resource planning and outsourcing, theory of constraints and throughput costing. This is a very important area where you will get a couple of questions on your exam, maybe at least one question. And then the last very small topic, capacity management. These are the 4 areas in your cost management. Let us discuss what is just-in-time inventory and lean operations, and then we will do the corresponding questions. Okay, first of all, what is just-in-time? The idea of just-in-time is that normally what we do, let's say if we are running a production facility, and let's say if the winter is about to set in about 2 months, and we prepare garments for children and adults, and we manufacture winter related garments, sometimes summer. So let's say winter is just 2 months away. We start producing goods right now, keep on producing, keep on filling up our warehouse, lots of production, in the hope that after 2 months, when the winter sets in, we will sell all the goods. This is conventional system. That's what most of the firms do. This is called a push system. This is called a push system, where we just produce in anticipation of demand. There is no customer, but we are just hoping that when the winter sets in, whatever we will produce, we will sell it when the winter sets in. This is called the push system or the conventional production system. Japanese are very smart people. They say, no, this is not Mafi quiz. Why? Because you're producing, you're stocking, lots of space is needed for storage. Mustauda, you need insurance for that. You need people to take care of the inventory, and so on and so forth. So there is so much cost. Japanese are smart people, very smart people. They say, no, this is a very outdated system. We won't make in anticipation of customer demand. Rather than, we will only produce when Al-Haj is standing at the door. Sir, please give me 2 shirts. When he's standing at the door, I will immediately manufacture 2 shirts and give it to him. Okay, take and go. Give me the money. I won't make anything unless the customer is standing, customer is requesting something. I won't make for the future. I will make for the customer order, just like job order costing. I will make only when there is a customer standing at my door. This is the idea of just-in-time. Just-in-time, you produce only in time when there is a customer standing at your door, not before that. So gentlemen, Japanese are very smart people, very intelligent people. Toyota, Honda, you know, all the cars around you, all the technology, most of it is from Japan. Very smart people. So modern inventory planning favors just-in-time. Just-in-time means you will manufacture only when your customer is standing at the door. You will not produce in anticipation that whatever you produce will be sold in the future. So normally what we do, I just told you, inventories are normally built for just-in-case basis. That in November, December, when the winter season will set in, I will sell what I'm producing now. So you are producing in anticipation of sale. But in just-in-time, we only produce when Al-Haj is standing at my door. When Allah is standing at my door, you produce only when there is a customer order. No problem. Let the machine remain inactive. Let there be no production. I will only produce when there is a customer at the door. This is the philosophy called the just-in-time. Only produce when there are customers. Do not invest too much in inventory. So that's the benefit for it. So when you use just-in-time, there are benefits. Just-in-time will result in less money invested in idle assets. If you employ just-in-time, no need of Mustauda, no need of Mudirul Mustauda. There is no need for purchasing material, no need for insurance, no need for trawlers or forklifters to carry the material in the warehouse. You save a lot of money. So if you use JIT, like Japanese people, there is less money invested in idle assets. You don't have to put too much money in assets or warehouses or equipment and so on. Goods will simply come at your production floor when you need them, not before. So benefit is that no mustawda, no storage costs. When you have no stock, there is no damage to the stock. Deterioration means when the stock is kept for a long time, it becomes damaged, deteriorated. When the stock is in the warehouse, it is stolen. It's a beautiful word, pilferage. It is stealing, theft. Theft of stock is called pilferage. That there is, I'm sure you are in the working environment. I have worked in many Middle Eastern companies in Saudi Arabia. When there are goods in stock, there is always some theft, pilferage. People steal. Whatever they can get their hands on, they will steal from the warehouse. So when there is no goods stored, no pilferage, no deterioration, no rent, no outdated stock, no inventory taxes. See, you save a lot of money. Japanese are smart people. They carry no inventory. They will only produce when there is a customer at the store, and they save a lot of money. So now there is a risk also, because since you have no stock, maybe if your customer comes and you have to produce in rush, you may damage goods. But under just in time, there is no room for wastage. You cannot waste. Your goods must be right the first time. If you produce goods, must be correct the first time. You cannot waste your time. You cannot waste your material. You have to be very efficient, like Japanese people. Japanese are very efficient people. Very efficient, very hardworking, and very smart. You have very limited material, so you cannot waste, zero defects. Your machines, like Japanese, their plants work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and about 360 days a year. Now the question comes, how can they do that? Don't they maintain their plants? Yes, they do. They're smart people. Instead of just repairing their plants when they get damaged, they follow what they call preventive maintenance. What is preventive maintenance? I definitely would like to explain this. Let's say you hold a car. You have Honda City, for example, or let's say you have Honda Civic. Right? Now, before a big defect occurs, what you do, almost every month or maybe after every 2 months, you go to the pit stop, you get your oil changed, right? You get maybe your brake shoe checked. So instead of just waiting for some damage to occur, you go every month and get a repair and maintenance check to see if everything is fine. This is called preventive maintenance. Rather than waiting for a defect to occur or a fault to occur, you just regularly keep on maintaining your plant so that if any problem occurs, you know that before it becomes a major problem. See, a smart approach. So this is what we do with our vehicles, and this is what Japanese do with their plant and machinery. Zero defect. They keep on checking whether things are fine or not. Then, the good thing is now that your production is of higher quality, you'll waste less material, and there is very low inventory, sometimes zero inventory. So this is something amazing. Your quality is high, that is very good, and your inventory cost is low. So you are making money from both sides, so a lot of money for you. That's why Japanese companies make tons of money, and they are one of the largest companies in the world. Right? Okay. Now let's move on to understand some finer concepts. Lean operations. Okay, what does it mean by lean operation? The word lean means a person who is very slim. But here lean means an operation, a process that minimizes waste. Lean operations mean a production system that keeps the loss at minimum. So lean operations where we keep our losses at minimum, they are used with JIT. Just in time and lean operations, they go side by side. I told you, conventionally what we use a system called the push system of production. We keep on producing, and then we sell it in the month of sale. But under just in time, we use a pull system. Pull system means you will only produce when there is a customer standing at the door. So remember, just in time is a pull system. Your production system is pulled by the customers and then you produce. But In the push system, you make push, push, push in the market. So here you can lose a lot of money, but here in pull system, you will only produce when the customer needs it. So resultantly, you will focus on less waste, and you will try to follow and achieve what you call the zero defects production. If you produce 100 units, all of these 100 units must be 100% perfect, or at least 99 to 98%. Low or zero defect production. This is called efficiency, gentlemen. This is called quality. Okay, then this is a good para to discuss under just-in-time. So what is the objective of just-in-time? Why Japanese have adopted this approach? First of all, just-in-time offers you higher productivity. You waste less and you produce more and more. Out of 100 units, 98 are perfectly fine. It reduces your carrying cost. Mafi mustawda, not mudir is required. No people to count or keep the stock. No theft in the stock. Good. Faster and cheaper setups. You keep on setting your machinery quickly. Whatever the customer needs. If Al-Hajj comes, my machines are ready. If Allah comes, my machines are ready. If A comes, B comes, C comes, I can meet everybody's need. I can set up my machine quickly. Shorter manufacturing cycle. Maybe I can produce goods within 1 day or maybe 5 hours. Better due date performance. If I say 13th of July, it means 13th of July. I keep my customers happy by giving them goods on the due date. Better due date performance. Then, improved quality means out of 100 units, 99 are perfect with regard to customer requirements. More flexible processes. So ultimately, just-in-time increases competitiveness, make you stronger than your competitors, and it gives you higher profits. Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Lexus, they make tons and tons of money, billions of dollars every year. Very profitable firms. I'm sure you know Toyota sales is the highest in the Middle East region, especially in Saudi Arabia. Toyota is the leading brand. Of course, now there are competitors, but this is a major brand, and of course, it's a Japanese brand. And that the idea of just-in-time was introduced in Toyota. We'll discuss that. So just-in-time are based on manufacturing philosophy that you will purchase only when you need it for production. So accordingly, you need to manage your inventory accordingly. So purchasing, production and inventory are combined. Under just-in-time, we combine these three systems together so that our production systems work very efficiently and save a lot of cost for the firm. Purchasing, production and inventory control, they are combined. I just told you that the just-in-time system, it's a pull system, means I will only produce when there is customer standing at the door. There is no inventory. Inventory is zero. Or if not zero, it must be minimum, so that there is no need of warehouse, no need of counting, quality checks, forklift or trawlers or rent of the warehouse, insurance. I will save a lot of cost. So inventory should be minimum, or ideally I believe it should be zero. You will only buy when you need it. Now there is a great risk. What if Al-Hajj comes and he says, sir, I need 150 units tomorrow. I have nothing. I have zero stock. How can I meet his order of 150 tomorrow if I have no stock? I'm taking a great risk. How can these Japanese firms are able to meet the customer's order? They have something very interesting called EDI, Electronic Data Interchange. How it works, let me tell you. If Al-Hajj comes to me, he says, I need, sir, 150 units by tomorrow. My system will immediately take in this order and will see what are the units do we need, who are the vendors XYZ who provide them. My system will automatically generate purchase orders through electronic data interchange and send these purchase orders digitally to my vendors, asking them to deliver the goods by tonight or maybe today afternoon. My vendors are very dependable. My vendors are highly reliable. I know whenever I ask goods, they will deliver on time. And I have just 3 vendors, mafi hundreds of vendors, just three vendors who are Quace people, Mia Mia. So they are highly dependent. So my system will place orders immediately. My vendors will deliver the goods. Tuck, 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 tuck. By tomorrow, Al-Hajj comes, goods are ready. This is important. This is very important. Your suppliers must be very nice people who meet your requirements. Your dependability of supplier is crucial. That's why you may have three suppliers only, X, Y, Z, not hundreds of them, but they are very good, dependable suppliers. You can depend upon them. You can rely on them. This is very crucial, because if your suppliers delay, your production won't happen, and Al-Hajj will be very angry that Sir didn't deliver the goods on time. So this is crucial. Your suppliers must be very dependable, and you must be connected to your suppliers through digital system, through EDIs, and your system automatically handles all your production related issues. So once it starts working, you save a lot of costs. As I said, there is no need of counting, no need of quality check. My vendor X is excellent. My vendor Y is Mia Mia. No need of counting. When they send goods, stop, don't count. Take them directly to production. When goods come from Y, don't even check the quality. I know Y is Quace, perfect production goods. So no need of counting, no need of checks, no need of quality control. Simply bring the goods and start production. Why? Because your suppliers are dependable. They are good suppliers. So you have to be very careful when you select your suppliers, because your entire process, production under just-in-time, depends upon these people. So you have to carefully select them, and then you don't have to be worried. See? No need to store. Why? Because goods come on time. Thak, make the goods and give it to Al-Hajj. No need to count. No need to inspect. Why? Because I know my suppliers are dependable. I don't need to store them. Goods come direct on time. I don't need to count. I don't need to inspect for quality, because they are dependable. Now, within lean manufacturing, there is a concept called Kanban. As I said, this is again a Japanese terminology. Kanban is a Japanese term, and it means ticket. The Kanban is a Japanese terminology. It means ticket. What basically it means? Let me explain the idea. Let's say this illustration here explains the concept of Kanban. What is Kanban? Let me just give you the brief description. Kanban, it's material flow control method based on the replenishment or replacement of only those quantities that have already been consumed. What it means? Let's say these green boxes here, basically these are what you call them electric batteries used in cars. Now, these two batteries have been taken by this person for car A and car B. Since two have been used, someone from the warehouse will bring in the next two. When these next two are used, next someone will bring these further next two. So we plan our production system in such a way that we will replace or replenish those goods that have been consumed, so that our production system doesn't stop. He uses two, someone brings in two. He uses two, someone brings in two. He uses two, someone brings in two. So we keep on replenishing what we are using, so that our production system moves smoothly like a well-oiled machine. We don't have to wait for the goods to come. Goods are always available, so that production system keeps on working for 24 hours, 7 days a week. So replenishment of what you need, when you need it, in the quantity needed. 2 used, 2 replaced. 2 used, 2 replaced. 7 used, 7 replaced. So that production system doesn't slow. And this is done through a system called ticketing system, the detail of which is not relevant to us. Just we need to remember that it is done through a chit system, or a small piece of paper based system, ticket system, that replaces what we have used, so that production system doesn't slow down. I told you this idea was developed in Toyota Motors Corporation. This was developed by them, so that they could use this system in a way so that production system works smoothly. There are 3 types of Kanbans. I will explain these one by one. One is the withdrawal Kanban, other is the production Kanban, and then the vendor Kanban. Let me explain these one by one. Withdrawal Kanban is an instruction to this person that I have used to, please bring in 2. Withdraw these 2 units from the warehouse and bring it here. So withdrawal Kanban is the instruction that these items are being used, so please bring in from the warehouse or from the process and put these 2 here. This is called withdrawal Kanban. Then we have production Kanban. Let me see. Production Kanban can be remembered as production order, not purchase order. Remember, I was going to write PO. It's the production order. Okay. Now, let's say if we have used all of the batteries that were there in the warehouse, now we need to produce more. So we will give the order to our production manager, a production order to produce 150 batteries for the next month. So production order is an instruction to the production manager or production supervisor to start producing a certain number of units, so that when all are about to consume, we have goods available so that our production system should continue. Then there is what you call a vendor Kanban. See, when we manufacture these batteries ourselves, we need to buy some things from our vendors. Maybe we need acid from our vendors. We don't manufacture acid ourselves. Maybe we need the metal plates from our vendors. Maybe we need the electrical wires from our vendors. So a vendor Kanban, basically, it's a purchase order. Remember, vendor Kanban, it's a purchase order from our vendors to deliver these many items at that and that date. Now just try to link them all. He uses 2 batteries, and through a withdrawal Kanban, instruction is given to this man to bring in 2. This is called the withdrawal Kanban. Then of course we don't have unlimited supplies of batteries. We need to produce more. When we are about to use all, we give a production order to a production supervisor, and then this is what you call the production Kanban. Our production manager or supervisor will start producing the battery, so that when we are about to consume, we have lots of batteries again, so that the production system continues. And of course, our production managers need some raw materials. At some point, he needs material from our vendors, so he will give what you call a vendor Kanban. Vendor Kanban is a purchase order to deliver certain items. So we don't want our production system to stop. We should have our withdrawal Kanban on time, production Kanban on time, vendor Kanban on time, so that goods keep on flowing in a way that our production system doesn't stop. This was very important, called Kanban. The last thing is called the cell production. Imagine a production system where I have positions like A, B, C, X, Y, Z, M, O. Now look at this. My goods start manufacturing at position A, then they go to B, then they go to C, then goods are moved to position O, then they come to X, then they come to Y, then they go to M, then they go to Z, out to customer. This is ridiculous, stupid. But many firms who do not have a very smooth production system, they might have arranged their production facilities in this haphazard manner. Too much movement of material, too much movement of men, and that's a waste of money. Stupid approach. Then what did we do? We came up with a very smart approach called the cell production. What we do in cell production, rather than just laying down our production system in a very haphazard and illogical manner, we put them in a sequence. Look at this lovely arrangement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All these are sequentially arranged. Goods starts work at position 1, then they move to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there are some people who are multi-skilled. They can work on here, they can work here, they can also work here. This gentleman can do 4 types of jobs. This. So what we have now, much lower space, much less movement by people, by machinery, by goods. See? And the system becomes very efficient. This is, gentlemen, what you call the cell production. This is what you call the cell production. Production system is arranged in semicircles and goods move very smoothly, and we take less time, less space, and a lot of effort is saved. The important point is that your workers must be multi-skilled. Multi-skilled means that he can do 1, he can do 2 and 10. This person can manage job 3, 4, 9 and 8. So if any one person is absent, other one can take his place. We need less people, more efficient people, and we are able to produce more and more goods. So here it is important that our employees are empowered. They are trained so that they can handle different types of works. This way, in this configuration, we can save a lot of money for our company and being able to produce more and more. So this completes your just-in-time and lean operations. We have a few questions to explain the idea here. Okay. Companies that adopt just-in-time purchasing system often experience what? If you have used just-in-time, what do you expect to experience in your company? Less need for linkage with the vendor's computerized order entry system. Wrong, wrong, wrong. You need more, not less. You need more such arrangements. I just discussed that you need to be connected with your vendor through electronic data interchange so that the orders can be automatically placed. Wrong. This is a wrong statement. A greater need for inspection of goods as goods arrive. No need of inspection. Your vendors are good people, nice, squares people, Mia fi Mia people. You don't need to count. You do not need to inspect for quality. Goods will come directly to the production floor and we'll start production there. Fewer deliveries from suppliers? No, not fewer. Lots of deliveries. 2 items for Allah, maybe 13 items for Al-Hajj, 10 items for X, 2 items for Y. We keep on buying shoya items as we need. So this is wrong, not fewer deliveries. So that means B is wrong, C is wrong, D is wrong. Then what is true when we apply JIP? A reduction in the number of suppliers. Yes, we will carefully select our suppliers. Those suppliers who are lovely, beautiful people, dependable people, reliable people, because our supplier dependability is very crucial. That's what I was telling you, that in just in time, your everything depends upon your supplier. Dependability of supplier is crucial. So you may have few suppliers, 2 or 3, but they must be good people, dependable people. That is the reason what you will see is a reduction in the number of suppliers. Okay. Now, the benefit of just-in-time system of raw materials usually include, when we use just-in-time, we expect some benefits. So which of these is the benefits of just-in-time? Benefit of just-in-time. Decreasing the number of deliveries required to maintain production? No. In fact, there will be more and more deliveries, not less, because under just-in-time, you will purchase more and more from your suppliers. This is not true. See, you are absolutely right, Allah, absolutely right. Elimination of non-value adding operations. We don't have to do those operations that are not very helpful for us. So you're absolutely right. Why not B, increasing the number of suppliers? No. Not increase. Few suppliers who are lovely people. We don't need more suppliers. Just few suppliers that we can rely upon. See, maximization of standard delivery quantity. No standard delivery quantity. Sometimes I order 1. Sometimes I order 150 for Al-Hajj. Sometimes I order 102. So I can order any quantity. There is no standard quantity at all. I can order anything I need. So there is no standardization. So you are absolutely right. It's A, elimination of non-value adding activities. Now this is a very good question. Bell Company changed from traditional manufacturing philosophy. What is traditional manufacturing philosophy? We produce and keep on putting in mustawda in hope that we will sell it in the future. Like winter is setting in, we produce for winter. This is traditional manufacturing. So we have moved from traditional system to just-in-time philosophy. Just-in-time means we produce only when the customer is standing at the door. So if we move from traditional to just-in-time, the question says, What are the expected effects of this change on Bell's inventory turnover? Inventory turnover is how many times you buy your inventory. So remember, when you use just in time, you buy again and again and again and again and again and more turnover. You buy, use, buy, use, buy, use. There is so much inventory turnover. So inventory turnover will increase because you will buy more frequently from your supplier. Sometimes 1 unit, sometimes 10 units, sometimes 17 units. So if you use just in time, your inventory turnover would increase. You will buy more frequently again and again. And what about the inventory? Under just in time, my inventory should be ideally 0. So inventory as a percentage of my assets should fall. Yes, I will buy more inventory for usage. I bought used, bought used, bought used. I don't have mustawda, maafi storage, maafi inventory. Inventory should be ideally 0. So if you apply just in time, your inventory turnover would increase. You will buy more and more, buy more times, you will buy repeatedly, but your inventory will be 0. You will keep minimum or 0 inventory. So it's going to increase and decrease. So increase, decrease is in the option C. So that makes C to be your correct option. This is a good option. Good question, in fact. The effectiveness of just in time is often facilitated by the elimination of some common forms of internal control. What are eliminated? No need of checking, no need of counting, no need of inspection, no need of storage, no need of drawing good receiving notes. You save so many internal controls. The elimination of which internal control is usually acceptable with just in time. So many internal controls are eliminated with just in time. Which of these is okay? We can remove that. That is not needed in just in time. Locked doors in production areas. We need this, whether there is just in time or no. Production areas must be locked so that the goods may not be stolen during production. So this is required. We need it. In every case we need it. Need it always. You need it in every condition, whether just in time or no. 2 signatures required for large checks. Let's say there is a check of, let's say about 1 million Kuwaiti dinar. It's a lot of money. So for such a large check, there must be 2 signatures. So this is always needed. We need it always. So we can say that we need it always. We need it always. Voucher approval prior to paying check accounts payable. Voucher approval is essential whether we have JIT or not. So it means BCD, they are needed even there is JIT or no JIT, because these are accounting controls. Yes, we don't need this. Preparation of hard receiving reports. There is no need to prepare hard copy receiving reports. There is no need to count. There is no need to inspect. There is no need to prepare a good receiving report. No need under just in time. So it means if we have just in time, we can stop using A. We can eliminate A. That is, so the elimination of which of the internal control is usually acceptable? A is acceptable. You can eliminate A. Okay. Next question says, just-in-time manufacturing practices are based in the part of the belief. Just-in-time, the idea of just-in-time that you produce only when there is a customer standing at the door. Goods should be pulled through your production process. Your customer pulls the goods. You should not push. This is the basic idea of just-in-time, that you don't push the goods. Rather, your customer pulls. Okay. So if a worker encounters a production Kanban, if there is a production Kanban, what you should do? We have just learned that if there is a production Kanban, you should start manufacturing that item. Production Kanban is an order that you should start producing that particular item. So that's begin manufacturing that particular item that is requested. Then the physical reconfiguration of equipment that often accompanies the institution of just-in-time manufacturing regime is described as, we just learned that when we plan our production system should be planned in such a way so as to reduce the space. This is called cell manufacturing. Mind the word, this is called cell manufacturing. So this is the idea here. Cells, production cell, the physical reconfiguration of equipment so that we use little space and we use more efficient resources. So this is basically cell production. So that completes your just-in-time theory and questions.